Hey everyone, I'm here to show you how to service the ceramic hybrid cartridge bearings in your Onyx Racing hub. You're going to need a dental pick or similar tool, a bottle or tube of a high-grade bearing grease, and a can of aerosolized alcohol-based degreaser. Notice we've already removed the bearings from the hub to begin this process. To start, go ahead and take your dental pick and gently scoop the seal from the inside edge of the bearing. Be careful not to damage the seal by pressing too hard or denting the seal surface itself. Once both seals are off the bearing, you can go ahead and apply a small amount of degreaser and let it soak into the bearing for a few minutes. This will help loosen up any grease or contaminants inside the cartridge itself. A light spin will help work this in. After a few minutes, go ahead and be generous with your degreaser and flush the bearing out one side to the other. Take your time and try to get every nook and cranny of the bearing, as there's a lot of crevices where dirt and other contaminants can get stuck inside the cartridge. Go ahead and give it a spin to work the degreaser in, and then flush it again generously one more time. Once complete, you want to go ahead and let the bearing hang out and dry for a while. Any leftover degreaser could actually degrade the new bearing grease we're going to pack in almost immediately. Go ahead and take a few minutes, let this bearing dry out. Once dry and ready to begin, go ahead and take a finger dab of your bearing grease, and you're going to want to press this into the cartridge a little bit at a time. The goal here is a 30% fill of the cartridge bearing itself. Applying too much grease will cause the bearing to have an excessive amount of drag, as well as flush out a lot of excess grease and attract more contaminants. Having too little grease will cause the bearing to need service more often, as it will spin dry and rough. Go ahead and spin the bearing a little bit to work in the grease before reapplying your seals, and be sure you have enough coverage. When reinstalling the seals, take care not to bend or dent the seal before installing it back onto the bearing. If your bearing happens to have a heavy seal on one side, be sure to note the orientation as to which direction the bearing needs to face when reinstalled back into the hub. Once you have both seals back on the bearing, you're ready to go ahead and use your bearing press to put it back inside the hub.